back in June 2021, we spent a few days at the lovely Lindholme Lakes complex. It was an opportunity to spend a few days on site fishing the different lakes and get lots and lots of filming done. We stayed in one of the luxurious lodges on site, and it was a really nice opportunity to spend much more time on the bank actually filming and trying a few things out. That gave me the opportunity to spend 2 one-hour sessions, and the first of those was on Lindholme Lake, where we tried to target some bigger margin fish later on in the afternoon. I've literally only got about 1 hour left of today's session, and I'm here on a lovely looking peg where we've got the wind blowing in. I've got a really inviting left hand margin. We've got reeds running down there. I think there's a bit of depth there as well, but the breeze is blowing in. It's just eased off a little bit, but it has been blowing in here for well over an hour now. It's 2:30. It's the right time of day to be targeting margins, and I'm hopefully going to catch 1 or 2 better stamp fish down here by using the pellet feeder. Well, straight away I'm getting little indications, you know, there's definitely signs that there's fish down there. I don't know what fish they are. I know there's a hell of a lot of F1s in here, but there are lots of proper carp as well. Little indications, like I say, with a feeder like this, you know, there's only really one way into the pellets, and that's that way in there, and that is exactly where I'm presenting the hook bait. I haven't primed this line at all. Normally if this was a match or I'd fished here on this peg for the duration of the session, I would have primed this line before I went on it. I haven't done that today. But I've got this spot because the wind's blowing in here, so you'd naturally think there was some fish there. So I'm just packing quite a few pellets in actually. There we go, and the hook bait is tucked in there as well. I like to keep the loop down, out of the way, so if a fish comes in, sucks in those pellets, the hook bait is right in there as well. So we're getting indications, but like I said, I don't know what stamp fish they are, but I'm hoping that the more I kind of put some bait in, the stronger it'll get and the more confident the bites will be as well. As regards hook bait, I'm just kicking off with a 6mm hard banded pellet. That's not what we expected. Well, we're getting lots of little taps and rattles. The hooks come out in the net. Not the target species. That's a better fish. I had a couple of little rattles first, and I thought there might have been another one of those skimmers. But I thought if I kept feeding, then hopefully to bring in one, you know, 1 or 2 better fish, even if they were just F1s. But this feels like a good fish. It was only in a few seconds, as you saw. Interesting to see what it is. That rain looks like it's heading this way, so we're going to get wet again, I think. But that wind's started blowing in again, so I'm sure that's only going to help this margin. Just fishing a 10-foot rod, that's all I've got. It's my favourite, and it's a big F1. Nice commercial 10-foot feeder rod, perfect for this sort of fishing. You only need 10 foot because you're only fishing down the margin, but it's the feeder version, so it's got loads and loads of backbone if you do start catching those big doubles that we see on lots of fisheries these days. There we go. Hopefully that's a sign that there's 1 or 2 better fish starting to mill about now. Now I've started feeding. He's still got loads of energy, look at him, it's going balmy in the net. Oh, calm down, mate. Get him back. Mate. So now I'm just going to keep them pellets going in now. I'm not feeding anything else, just micros. And let's see if we can build that up now, and hopefully as this wind's blowing in, it's going to hopefully draw some fish up this margin. Just fishing a 3000 reel, that's all. It's matched perfectly with this 10-foot rod. 8-pound main line, so it's nice and durable, which is all what I use now down the margins, because there's lots of features down some margins, and the 8-pound just means there's an extra bit of reassurance and hopefully durability if it's going to be rubbing against, you know, reeds and things like that. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you and say that it isn't working. I'm not happy with it. I'm getting way too many indications. for the number of fish that are actually catching. I've only had that one F1, a couple of little skimmers, but obviously, you know, we're not targeting those. So I'm having a bit of a change. I've just put a cage feeder on, and I've just put about 20 pieces of corn in a cage feeder, just capped off with micro pellets, and I'm going to use corn on the hook. Still keeping the pellet feeder on, but for the number of indications, the time of day, and obviously I know how many fish there are in this lake, we should definitely be catching more fish. I'm not saying we should be catching big fish, but we should be catching more. So I'm hoping this nice big visual bait, as you can see, is a single piece of corn on a hair rig. Alright, so I'm going to keep the same feeder on. I'm going to see if this is going to work. So it's been about 5 minutes now since I put that feed in with the feeding feeder, or with the cage feeder. So I'm just going to switch to this now and see if this is going to sort out some of those better fish. There we go. Oh, how about that? Straight away. Feels a good fish as well. So it's only been in about, well, less than 2 minutes, and we're into a decent fish. He's behaving as well. There we go, big F1. Well, is that going to be the better way of presenting the bait, or is that a lucky fluke fish? I guess we'll find out. Not a proper carp, but I don't know what the chances are of catching many proper carp today on this lake. But if these big F1s are there, then that'll do. Let's have a look at him just so you can see the stamp. These aren't really big fish in here, but they're really thick set, which makes them heavy for the size. He's not going to let me hold him up properly. There we go. Let's get him in. Let's see if we can get some more. It's amazing sometimes, you know, how you just make a simple little change like that, and it suddenly results in fish, you know, proving to you that those fish were already there. These are just ready tied hook lengths that I'm using. I've been using them for quite a few weeks now. MXC3s to 018 ready tied, the Matrix size 14. But these ones, because I'm fishing with corn, have got speed stops on them, which obviously just helps you hair rig grains of corn on, or you can obviously hair rig pellets on there as well. Any sort of bait that you can use with a speed stop, could even be meat as well. What I'll do is I'll just fish out that initial bit of feed that I put in. So there was about, I don't know, 20 pieces of corn in that first cage feeder that I put in, and I'm just going to fish that out. I'm going to catch as many fish as I can on that, and if it goes quiet or we stop catching, then I can just put another cage in and top it up, you know, set it up again. That looks like a small fish. It is. I bet this is another skimmer. No, roach, is it? It's a roach on the hair rig corn. There we go. You never know what you're going to hook in these places, do you? He's not damaged a bit of corn either, which is nice. It means I can continue. Oh, it has. It's ripped out a little bit. Let's get a fresh piece on. Well, just a simple change, like changing that hook bait, has just completely transformed it. It's a slower fish, this one. I don't know if it's another F1. Oh, it's a bigger one. It looks like an F1 again, but a bigger fish. Oh yeah, look at the size of that one. Beautiful. When you're catching F1s that size, you don't really need proper carp, do you? Especially when they're coming in quick. Still got loads of energy. Beautiful. Let's get him back. Come on, mate, off you go. He couldn't wait to get back. Well, this feels another good fish. It just shows that changing the baits can just transform your session. It's been a really hectic hour, especially considering the first 10 minutes or so were really slow, and we were just getting those little indications when we were fishing the pellet. Just changed to corn, and it's obviously the bait that they want. Another hard fighting F1. Well, the rig that I'm using is really simple. It's a free running rig, okay. This complies with this fishery, you know, these fishery rules here. So it's a free running pellet feeder, that's all it is. Okay, I've got a quick change stopper there, so I can change the hook length really quickly and easily. And then that is just a 4-inch hook length to a hair rig piece of corn. That is it. It's a size 16 hook, and I think the hook length is 0.18. Like I said, these are the ready tied ones, and I've been using these the last few weeks. They've been great. It saves a hell of a lot of time in preparation. So it's just 1 grain of corn. Unreal how changing to that bait from the 6mm pellet has just transformed the swim. Not the biggest one we've had today, but great condition, especially with the sun on him. He's still got loads of energy, but it just shows that just by changing a hook bait, it's just completely transformed that last hour. It's been a really hectic, well, 50 minutes. The first 10 minutes we were trying to work it out. We knew the fish were there, but just by changing the bait, it's just transformed it, and it's been a fantastic end to the session. So that's why we carry different baits, and that's why we're always learning, we're always experimenting. It's been a fantastic way to finish off the day. And the second 1 hour session was something that I don't often get a chance to do, and that is some shallow F1 fishing. I wanted to play around just to kind of find out what the ideal depth was going to be to catch the F1s on this particular day. Well, the weather has taken a little bit of a turn for the worst. I've been filming here today. I'm at Lindholme Lakes, and I've filmed several videos this week covering different methods, different tactics. So if that's the sort of thing you're interested in, then you might want to stick around and watch some of the other videos on this channel. However, I've done the filming for today. I've been feeding the line very close in with red maggots. That's all I've got, red maggots there. I've been loose feeding them down the side of these margins, and I was hoping to try and catch a few fish shallow towards the end of the session. Now I've been feeding there for about 2 hours now, just trickling a few maggots in, and I'm going to try and catch shallow with maggot, and I'm hoping we're going to catch some of these lovely chunky, very fast swimming F1s. Now I'm literally just going to be using a top kit. This is a way that anybody can fish, and on venues like this it's quite common for fish to come in close in late on during the session. And obviously with maggots, you know, one of the cheapest baits you can use, you don't always need pellets or anything like that. These fish are brought up on pellets. Now the wind has changed direction from how it was when I was filming. It's actually, there we go, there's a fish there waiting for us. The wind's actually blowing down. This is a little corner, this is peg 2 on bennies. Another fish there. They're telling us that they're there. But this wind's been blowing in this direction for about half an hour now. It looks really inviting. There's obviously lots of open water out there, but I'm going to be fishing here. I've been trickling maggots in just here. I don't know what the depth, well, the depth is about 4 feet deep there, but I'm going to try and catch it at half depth just with the top kit. I'll show you the rig just with maggots, and like I say, another fish there. It looks like there are some fish down there, so hopefully we're going to catch them quite quickly when we go on it. So all I'm going to try is just exactly what I'm feeding, single maggot. I don't know if we're going to catch silverfish there, but I've got a feeling there might be 1 or 2 F1s lined up. So, single maggot, no hair rigs, nothing like that, nothing fancy. I'm going to kick off with a single live red maggot, just hooking it through the point of the maggot so that there's loads of hook exposed. Half depth. I've just got one number 6 stot, about 5 inch from the hook, and then I've got a nice little dibber there, orange slick elastic, and that is it, and that is set at half depth. So another fish, look at that. There are fish there, but can we catch them? Just going to keep a few maggots trickling in just next to these reeds, there we go, and go over the top. I've got the rest of my pole section here ready in case I've got to add any sections on if we hook one. But let's have a look. That was an indication, but I missed it. Again, another bite, missed it. I might be too deep, but there might be silverfish, I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be some F1s there. That one's on. No mistaking. Keep some bait going in. So they're not small fish. There we go, he's come straight up. Missed my opportunity there to scoop him, so I was looking the other way. This is orange slick, the elastic, in case anyone's interested. Give you an idea of how hard these fish are fighting. Look at that, chunky F1, brilliant. Click a few more maggots in, let's keep them there, keep them interested. Chunky hand size F1s, brilliant, single maggot. Lovely. Let's see if there's any more down there. Well, let's see if that was a lucky fish. Missing one or two bites there. I might need to shallow up, I think. Like I say, I'm at half depth. I have plumbed it. I am missing one or two indications. Just have one more try at this depth. Oh, that one's on. I was a little bit closer to the reeds that time. So I'm going to stick at this depth. See how many we can catch before they disappear out of the peg. Brilliant. Hard fighting fish these. So the water's still quite chilly, you know. But these are hard fighting fish. He's got a lot of energy in him, I can feel. When you can catch them as close as that, that's how you can really rack up big weights of these fish. If they stay there long enough. The only trouble is sometimes when you're catching at such close range, there's a lot of disturbance there. So they don't always stay there for long, but we'll keep going, see if we can catch a proper carp this time. And see if there's any change in the size or species of fish. There we go. Well, that depth might be alright then. Maybe it was just the way that I was feeding. This one's going down the peg a little bit. Come back. He's trying to get up this edge. There's that puller bung, that's what it's for. Don't know if that was a little carp. I think it's an F1, but it looked like a little carp. No, another F1. That's 3 and 3. Let's see if we can make it 10 out of 10. Really chunky fish. That one was on, just hooked itself, that one. Missed a couple of bites, so I thought I was going to shallow up again, and then I went and hooked one. Looks like they're queuing up for it now. A lot of them all similar sort of size. Lovely fish. I'm just going to shallow that up now. As you can see, I mean, that's half depth. It's almost probably, yeah, it's probably 2 foot. I'm just going to shallow it up, just to see if it makes any difference. Because like I said, I've missed 2 or 3 bites before I hooked that fish. Obviously still catching quick, but I think there might be a better depth. That might be a bit too shallow, to be honest, but let's try it. I won't know unless we try, will we? If they're not in that depth, then we'll just not get bites, so then we can just gradually go deeper and deeper. That wind stopped now, as you can see, it's gone flat calm again, which won't help, I'm sure. And sometimes that might have an impact on the depth that the fish are actually comfortable feeding at. When you've got a wind blowing down and a chop on it, you know, it gives the fish a bit of cover, a bit more confidence. When it goes flat calm like this, sometimes the fish will be, they might go down a little bit and they might push out as well. See how that doesn't look like the right depth at all now. That's too shallow. A few little indications there, but when you're getting bites quite quick like this, we have hooked one at that depth. Keep the maggots going in. It's the first one at that shallower depth. Not quite sure it's right, but we'll try it again. Definitely not getting as many bites at this depth. I think that's a little bit too shallow. Yeah, I'm sure it's too shallow. I know we've just had a fish there, but I'm just going to go about, I don't know, about 6 inch deeper. There we go. That depth feels better. It's probably about a foot, maybe just over. Probably 14 inch deep, I'd say. This one's gone straight out to the middle of the lake. Yeah, that depth is much better now. Not missing any bites. And whenever you get a bite, the fish is on. Much better. So that's 14 inch. I've just measured it. Well, it's obvious that this lake is absolutely stuffed with fish, but I just thought I wanted to share this little bit of a fun video with you, because I've seen some lads fishing today with the pole at 12 meters, 14 meters, and they are catching F1s. But if you can build up a line like I have done over the course of 2 hours, especially close to cover as well, then you can quite often coax those fish in really, really close. And let's face it, to catch fish in large numbers of that size on just a top kit is something that most people can do, of any age and any ability. All I've fished with is a nice, really nice balanced setup, but the key was just building it up, building it up, building it up, and now it is literally a fish every cast. We're getting bites within seconds and we're landing fish in under a minute, and that can just be a fantastic way to finish your session. So I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of a fun insight into what's happened today on this fantastic lake at Lindholme Lakes. And if you enjoyed these videos, then don't forget to hit subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time.